The Trump administration appears to be making good on its threat on pushing Canada out of its auto industry after another manufacturing commitment fell through on Canadian soil. Last night, automaker Stellantis announced it's sinking $13 billion in Illinois, which includes rerouting its production plans in Brampton. The latest investment halt in Canada has sparked condemnation from political leaders, union officials, and industry experts. Jason Gaidola joins us live in studio with more on this. Jason?
Good evening, Manisa. Stellantis says the Brampton facility is still in their plans, have yet to explain on what those look like. In the meantime, thousands of workers are in limbo. A once proud and secure Canadian industry is showing more signs of instability after another major automaker puts their American interests first in an ongoing trade war. Chrysler assembly plant in Brampton has sat idle for months and will continue to do so after its parent company, Stellantis, announced that it's reassigning production of a new Jeep model from the Ontario facility to Illinois, a move that is part of their $13 billion investment in the U.S. The automaker released a statement saying they're still committed to their Canadian operations, adding in part, "Canada is very important to us. We have plans for Brampton and we will share them upon further discussions with the Canadian government." Stellantis didn't provide any details on what those plans are or how they compare to its previous plan that would have seen roughly 3,000 employees return to work this year after they idled the plant in the winter for retooling.
And we're just not going to accept that, they can shift production to the United States in the middle of this trade war. We need our governments to stand with us. And this is Brampton right now, but it could be any facility and any production at any point in time.
Outrage is pouring from the union representing workers at the plant, as are demands for the Canadian government to respond. Prime Minister Mark Carney took to social media saying the federal government is working with the company, and we have further made clear that we expect Stellantis to fulfill the undertakings they have made to the workers of Brampton. And this is why, even as we continue to negotiate a new economic and security relationship with the United States, the government is focused on what we can control.
Not only am I disappointed, it's completely unacceptable. So we will fight for these jobs. We will fight for the jobs at Brampton. We'll fight for the jobs that were committed by Stellantis, and we'll fight for our auto sector.
Canada's Industry Minister, Melanie Joly, sent a letter to the automaker's CEO, demanding the company meet its obligations.
We've been engaging with the company for months now, knowing that the Brampton facility was going to be retooled. We've invested millions of dollars in that facility based on the commitment that they would be investing in a new model.
In 2022, under the Trudeau government, Ottawa and the Ontario government sunk hundreds of millions in subsidies to have Stellantis upgrade its plants in Brampton and Windsor.
And we haven't given them a penny for Brampton yet. We gave them about $55 million out of the couple billion that the feds and I and the companies agreed. It's disappointing. They said they're going to keep Brampton open. I had a conversation with the president of Stellantis yesterday. He said, well, we're going to postpone it for a year. We're going to find a new model.
Premier Doug Ford also says the company has a duty to live up to its promises.
The only good news, there's no good news, but the only good news is they're adding a third shift in Windsor, and they're going to try to transfer 1,500 people from Brampton down to Windsor.
U.S. President Donald Trump and his Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick have stood pat on revamping the American auto industry with Canada out of the equation. The latest decision by Stellantis follows on several moves by Detroit automakers to delay or cut back production in Canada as U.S. tariffs persist and electric vehicle success has been slower than expected.
But the reality is that that production has been dropping precipitously for the last 25 years, to the point where the Detroit 3 automakers have all but already abandoned Canada, and the Brampton situation is just one more step.
So far, Ford Motors changed up their production plans at their Oakville assembly plant last year. General Motors shrunk its assembly plant in Ingersoll, Ontario to one shift, where EV delivery trucks are produced. And a shift is being cut back at their plant in Oshawa this January. The Office of Industry Minister Melanie Joly also stated in her letter to Stellantis that Ottawa is threatening legal action if the automaker fails to meet its legal binding commitments when it accepted government funding for its production expansion.